So I want to share my visa interview experience. I've had four experiences. It hasn't been easy. Oh. Hey, Charlie, we've had rejections where we cried for not getting our American visa because for us we felt like that was our chance to come here, and you know how sometimes you have so much faith, you have so much confidence that you're going to get the visa, and then you get rejected, especially for people who have been rejected before. You know that feeling is not good at all because you've already psyched yourself up that you are leaving this country, and you go there and you get a rejection. Is very, very painful. By the way, you see the cars behind me, the trucks. It's because we have a 3 day blizzard. So school has been closed down and they keep working. That's why I'm wearing my jacket in my car because it's very cold. Even though my heater is on, it's going to take some time before I'm able to catch some warmth. So about my three visa rejections and then the fourth successful one, the very first one was somewhere in 2010. We were invited over as a family, as a nuclear family. So I was going with my mom and my two sisters, and we prepared everything, medicals, and with that one we had to do medicals, unlike the student visa where you don't have to submit your medicals. So if you are wondering whether you have to submit your medicals for student visas, no, you don't have to. So we did medicals, everything, and then we went for the interview, and it was a visitor's visa. So at the time I was in high school, and I had to even I had to even miss some of the exams. Okay, so that particular term I came in last but one. I came in last but one. And most of the people in my class didn't even know that was the reason why I couldn't write some of the exam. I just told them that, oh, I have an urgent meeting at home, so I'll not be able to write the last two or three papers. So I left. I left for the interview. But the sad part was that when we got there, the interviewer was like, oh, it wasn't even necessary for us to come. Our mother could have done that for us without we being present. And I was like, oh no, I missed exam for this. Oh, you know. But anyway, we were there, and the funny thing is we had to be present on two different occasions because the first one, the interview, I mean the documents that we carried, there was one particular document that wasn't part of it, so we were asked to go back and reschedule our interview, and we had to do that. So we did that, and then we went there a second time. The interviewer asked us. It was a man, and you know him. Those in Ghana, you know him, the bald man. He was the one that bounced us in 2010. So he asked us a few questions. Where are you going? Visitors visa. We're invited over by family, so we're going to stay with family and all that. They checked our accounts, whether we can pay. Everything was okay. It was on point. But some way, somehow, they feel like, according to their discretion, they can choose not to give it to you if they feel like you're not making sense, or they feel something is fishy. I don't know. It depends on their own discretion. So this man bounced us. I know his name because that they had tags. Back in the embassy, they had tags where their full name was written on the tags. So you could actually tell that, okay, this is the name of the officer that bounced me. But later on, I'm sure they were getting threatened, so they removed the tags. So now when you go to the embassy, you don't see the tags on the visa officers. But before, they used to have the tag. So I know his name, the white man. But I'll not mention it. Anyway, so that was 2010. We got bounced, the whole family. We were rejected the visitor's visa, and then we had spent more than $7,000 approximately in trying to come to the United States of America. We had spent about $7,000 to prepare the documentations, tax clearance, medicals, some stuff that we did, and all that money went waste. That's the sad part. It doesn't get refunded. It doesn't get, even if you spend 1 million, it will not get refunded, not even a portion of it. So you had to just endure. And the in 2018, I applied for F1 visa to a school in Texas. It's called Stephen F. Austin State University. It's in Nacogdoches. So I applied, I got the admission, and then their scholarship system wasn't such that you could get a full scholarship. It was such that they give you the admission and then they give you $1,000 for per semester, which is small. Come to think of it today, but at that time I thought that $8,000 is big, because by conversion it was big. But the scholarship wasn't enough, and also they had just a slight waiver on my tuition fees. It dropped from 23,000 to 16,000, so I still had 16,000 to pay in tuition. But I went for the interview all the same, because I felt like, okay, if I had admission, then there's a high chance I'm going to get my visa, right? Because the school said I should come, so who are you to reject me? That was my mind. But I was in for a shock. So we went there. I got there. What do you do? I mentioned that I'm a website designer, blah blah, because that was what I was learning after school. In my country, after school, if you don't start something on your own, most of the time you're going to suffer, because it's not easy to find a job. So, sorry, I had to start web development on my own, learn how to create websites. I learned motion graphics, 2D and 3D animation. I learned graphic design, logo designs, flyers, and all that. So I did all those things. So that was what I was doing. And I didn't know that in the interview, whatever you are doing must match with the course I want to do. And at the time, I wanted to study MBA, right? Master of Business Administration. So that is what I applied for, and the school gave me. But what I was doing was not in sync with MBA directly, even though in a certain sense it is. It wasn't a direct relation. So I was bounced. I feel that is why I was bounced. And also the fact that even though my sponsor was financially capable, they felt that my presence was going to be a stress on my sponsor, a financial stress on my sponsor, because the school fees was big. 16K is big. If you are in Ghana and here 16K, you might think that, people in America can raise that money, but not many people have 16K in their accounts. If you pick 100 random Americans, only one person will have 16K. Even at times, you might have none of them having 16K in their account. So I got rejected, and then that was 2018. So 2019, I applied again, but it was the same school. Nothing really had changed, and that was one mistake I made. Make sure there's something different about your reapplication. That is, if you ever get rejected. But it wasn't. Nothing was different. So I just went, and then they looked at it, saw that almost all the details I had given was the same. It was close to the same, right? So that also, okay, with the second one, I think I had just a little bit more money to it, but it wasn't enough to clear the kind of deficit that I had. So I got a rejection again. I think one of the things I said when they asked me what I'll be doing after school was that I talked about seeking internship opportunities, which was like a big no. I didn't know. I didn't know. So I got rejected the second time for F1, but the third time in general. So this fourth one, by the grace of God, I was prepared. I got exposure to more materials, how to prepare, how to answer, how to make sure that what you are doing is in line with what you want to study, or at least how to connect what you do with what you are going to study. So because of that, I was able to answer the questions well, and I told my story in another video, so you can check it if you have the time. So I was able to get the visa, and I was so excited. I was shaking. My God, I was coming to America finally. So, that has been the journey. I would always advise that for your interview, prepare well. Make sure you prepare well. Make sure you touch on materials that addresses certain concerns that you have. Make sure that you have funding. Very, very important. Make sure you secure funding from your school. Sometimes people don't have funding and they just want to apply all the same. Well, you might get lucky, but most of the time you don't have funding. If you don't have assistantship where your tuition is waived, or you don't have some sort of strong financial backing, maybe a loan from an institution that is good enough to support you financially, or a sponsor who is financially able to really cover your deficits, then you might face a rejection. That's the truth. That's the truth. You might face a rejection. So that is my story. First one, rejected, entire family. Second, rejected, huge deficits, unrelated program and current occupation. And then the third one, similar. And then fourth one, I was able to secure full tuition waiver with North Dakota State University, NDSU here. You know, the car is so cool that when I talk, you still see the vapor. So I was able to get a full tuition, assistantship, research assistantship, and by the grace of God, I'm here today. So make sure you secure funding, inquire, research. I wasn't sleeping. No, I don't know why sometimes people email me and they're like, "Oh, help me get the scholarship. Help me get." You have to look for it, though. You have to look. We're not sleeping. No, if I wish. I think, did I even take a video? I think I took a video of one of the nights where I was ranting about how I'm doing research and I haven't slept. I'll try to look for that video if I still have it. I wasn't sleeping. I was searching for the scholarship, school, browsing. The number of schools I browsed, I can't even count. But here you are, people send you a message and they're like, okay, give me a scholarship opportunity. It doesn't work that way. You have to look for it. You have to look for it. So look for it. Don't sleep. If you really mean to come here, don't sleep. And sometimes I share some of these opportunities with you. You see opportunities, you give people ideas. They don't even care to look into the idea to see whether what you are teaching them is the right path, or what you are suggesting to them is something they can apply to or they can implement. They just want to be spoon-fed. You know, people are like that. But I'll urge you that look for the opportunity. Look for the opportunity. And when you find it, you realize that your work was worth it. So look for the opportunity. So that is it. 3 rejections, and I didn't mention, but I cried. I cried for my second F1 visa. My second F1, that one pained me to the core, because I felt like, this time on I should get it. At least they should sympathize with me and give me the scholarship and give me the visa. You know, but God's timing is always the best. Yeah. And I pray that those going for their fall 2023, spring 2024, fall 2024, if you are watching by the time, that you have it successful and prepare well enough. You can also join my Telegram group where we'll be going through mock interview sessions. All right, so I won't talk too much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.